Hey, what's the deal, Bucks Nation? Coming to you just to discuss some recent scores to the games of our Milwaukee Bucks, and I'm not happy. I mean, I understand this regular season, but having a losing streak more than 2 games, 3 games, you know, it can be pennies, but I just think so let me tell you what started. So I started watching some post game interviews for Giannis, and I seen when I was watching, he was discussing, basically saying that the losses, no matter the points or anything like that, or the teams, these losses still make this team better. From my understanding, it's hard to see the growth, because some of the same mistakes are being made, and even things that weren't really mistakes are now mistakes. So when you look at it, one issue I see is that some players are basically taking more shots than Giannis, and they'll still finish the game with less points. Now I understand, every day every game you're not going to hit all your shots. I understand that. But if you see a constant pattern where Giannis isn't taking the most shots on his team, but he's finishing with the most points, that can't be good. That means either the players that are missing the shots, they're just missing the shots, or they can be taking bad shots, which then turns into easy, fast break points depending on the rebounding situation for the opposing team. So I think for us, I think we're gonna have to slow down the tempo, and I understand that that's really against what the NBA wants, but I don't have faith in our 3-point shooting consistently, game in and game out, as most teams offer. And that's the thing. Like, we used to really score the ball very well. The OKC Thunder, we put up 109 points. Now I understand the Thunder have they have a pretty good defensive unit. So I don't expect us to put up the most points of the season on this team, but I definitely think we can put up more than 109 points. And if you look at it, it's basically Chris Middleton took 22 shots, made 10 of them, 23 points total. Giannis had 24 points off of 18 shots, and he shot 3 threes. Chris Middleton shot 7 threes. And then if you look at like this game, Brook Lopez, it doesn't look like he was much of a factor. He only took 4 shots, and 1 was from 3, and he missed. And we know Brook, he's a stretch guy. He can hit those threes. So for some reason, I didn't watch the game. I'm just recapping. They must have been doing something defensively to basically limit Brook Lopez. And then you look at Dante DiVincenzo actually played a good game this game. This might have been his best game so far this year. He had 17 points, shot 60% from the field, 5 for 7 from 3, 8 rebounds. Yeah, that's a solid game from him. And if he can be that guy or something close to that guy, we're gonna be tough to beat. But it's the games where he has less effort, and it's probably all about defense. Depending on what the defense does, certain players are going to be open, and I understand that. But we just need that effort from him. And Portis, man, he's solid. That might be our biggest pickup between him and Jrue Holiday, of course, but Portis is solid. He's solid, man. And it was a few times where I bet on FanDuel, and I drafted him, and this dude dropped 40 points, 40 fantasy points. And I was like, oh, I didn't know he was balling like that. But shout out to him. He's a good defender. And he's definitely a physical specimen on our defense. But it's the hurdles for me, man. It's like we're losing to teams that we possibly should have beat. But I understand they're going to look at it like, hey, this is the regular season. This is very early in the regular season. So, but the way I was looking at it was like, based off of the last time we seen the Bucks play in the bubble, where they just, it looked like Space Jam Monstars showed up and took their talent. It looked like they didn't want to play for a championship anymore. From the moment they went to the bubble and they lost their fans, which I understand, man. Whenever you have somebody rooting for you and in your corner throughout any stretches of this thing called life, it's difficult when they're not there and you have to do it without them. And I understand that, but so did every other team. Every other team went through the same thing. So how come when we get there, we're just not prepared to win or play at a high level, and we just lost. Playoff time came. We weren't good enough to advance. Now, the bubble, man, it wasn't that long ago. Like they finished the championship. Well, I believe what? I'm not even sure of the date. It was like middle of the summer. Like, it was bad. But I'm saying that as to say it was only like a 3-4 month break from the championship to the start of like the draft and training camp, preseason. It may have been like three months in between then. So you still should be in the swing, and your body still should be, ready for a regular season. So for y'all to come out not as productive as what we would hope based off of the last time we seen you guys perform, I just feel as though, man, it's going to be some big news coming from this team, whether it's before the trading deadline, after the trading deadline, or in the offseason. It's going to be a trade, or it's going to be a coach fire. It's going to be something, and I think it's well needed, because you don't want to be a regular season team. Like every single season, you're top 2, top 3 in your conference, but you can't make it to the conference finals, or you can't make it to the NBA finals. And then you have like Defensive Player of the Year awards and Coach of the Year awards and MVPs and all that. Like, those are good. Those are okay. Like, MVP is great. I'm not going to lie. That's probably one of the best awards outside of a championship. But the number one goal is the championship. The number one goal is a championship. So if the team isn't trending in that direction, and then you see the competition getting better, playing harder, playing as a team, it makes you think that something has to change. And I understand, certain systems in the NBA and even in the NFL, they allow the coach to mold this team, to mold their team. And then some teams, they only give the coach 1-2 years, and if it looks awful, we're done, we're blowing this up. Some teams, they don't do that. They'll let you work. Like, okay, we know that these players they're not your players, they don't fit your system, so we'll give you some time to create your system, create an identity, and build players up for your system. We understand that. So we'll sit here and we'll wait for that. We'll give them the time to improve. But if you look back at the situation and you don't see any improvement, somebody got to go. And a lot of Bucks fans, we were done with Coach Budenholzer last year, because we felt last year he should have improved. But, management gave him another shot, which is, hey, I'm not going to make anything stating that a person should be fired. If that's the fact, if that's an opinion based off of others or even mine, I would express it, but I'm not going to just make a post calling for somebody to be fired. The whole video or the whole, the whole conversation. I'm not going to just keep blaming one person because it's not really his fault. It's not just his fault. It's about execution. The players still have to go out and execute and play at a high level. You don't want to put 30% into a game and expect to win when it's people that are just as talented and work harder. So hopefully, man, on the next couple games coming up, we can get back on the winning side because it looks like, let me check, I think we're currently on a 3-game losing streak, I believe. But we are, man, the East is, the East is pretty soft right now. Hopefully, I don't think that's going to last. I think it's going to be pretty much top heavy because right now we're still number 2 in the conference with a 3-game losing streak. So we're 5 for 5 in our last 10 games. And it's basically at home we good. 9-2. You come to our house, man, it's about traveling, going to other people's houses. 7-9. It's terrible. We own our division though. So that's what I'm saying. So if you look at the actual records of the East, we're number 2 at 16-11. Number 1 is Philly. They're 18-9. It just looks like it's going to be one of those years again for the Eastern Conference where it'll be the top 4 or 5 teams will have a record over 500 and the bottom 3 to 4 teams won't be. It's just how it is. But I see we should definitely start playing more consistently around March. That's usually when it happens. March, April, around the regular season end date. But now I know with the shortened season due to the pandemic, I'm not even sure of the actual end date. But I do believe they'll be playing about 70 games with the shortened season. So hopefully somewhere around the middle portion, we'll start to see the team that we hope to see in the playoffs. Gritty, grindy defense. Thank you guys for your time. Salute.